Hello there everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/entitled parents, where the parents are very much entitled. If you enjoyed today's stories, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and all that other stuff. Now, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Entitled kid assaults my daughter, finds out the hard way she's been taught to take care of herself. So, this is my second story. Little background, I'm an Iraqi war vet, and I believe in teaching the women and girls in my life to defend themselves with impunity. So at the very young age of 4, I've been teaching my child to defend herself. Story time. I'm at work one day and get this call from my daughter's school. I go outside to answer the phone and the conversation goes like this. The cast is me, the Terminator, and P for principal. Hello, Terminator. I need you to come back to pick up baby Terminator. Can I ask what this is about? Yes, your child has been in a fight and needs to leave the school premises. What do you mean she's been in a fight? What happened? I mean, she wouldn't just pick a fight. Well, from what we can tell, Entitled Kid was running up behind her and grabbing her butt. She apparently warned him to stop, and when he wouldn't, knocked him out cold. So I'm confused. What's happening to the boy then? Well, your daughter seems to be the aggressor, and we need her to leave, and she is going to be suspended. Now, my child at the time lived with my ex-wife, and I had heard from my ex that my kid was having an issue with this boy for a while now, and I knew my daughter had gone through many times telling on him to no resolve. I also knew that he'd been told many times by teachers to stop and hadn't. Wait. So, nothing's gonna happen to the boy who's been sexually assaulting my daughter for however amount of time? Well, Mr. Terminator, she did strike him once and knocked him out. She needs to learn violence is not the answer. She needed to bring it up to the attention of a teacher. Okay, so what I'm hearing is your school is saying it's okay to sexually assault a girl, and that the girl in question just needs to be the victim of assault over and over again or be punished. Is that just about the gist of it? Now I hear silence as the principal mulls over what I have just said. I can tell they're trying to justify this weak tea BS. I compose myself. So, here's what's gonna happen next. You can either punish both or punish none of them. Because I promise you, the last thing you want is me and dress-A's and TV reporters showing up and blasting your entire school over this. Now, I can understand that her punching this brat is unacceptable, but what I will not take is neither she or him not being punished at the same time as well. Do I make myself clear? And then there was just silence on the other end. Also, why are you calling me and not her mother? Well, Mr. Terminator, she told us to call you. You listen to me and you listen good. I swear to you and God, I will not put up with this. I demand a meeting with you, her teacher, and the boy's family. If I can't make it, my ex-wife will. If this isn't resolved to my liking, I will bring a holy hell upon this whole stick house you've built. Do you understand me? Yes, sir. Good. Call my ex and let her know the time and date. We will coordinate from there. I hang up and call my ex. She agrees with me and I go back to work. About a week later, there is a meeting, but unfortunately I have work and my ex has to go in for me. From what I'm told, the boy's family tries to play it off as, boys will be boys, and tries to get my daughter expelled. There are times when I remember why I married my ex, and this is one of them. She proceeds to tell them that the last thing any of them want is me to get more involved than I already have, and that if I have to, I'll bring it all burning down. Every single brick. The outcome was, both were suspended for 4 days and the boy moved to a different class, and I never got a call like that again. Moral of the story, my kid's a badass and got a cake for sticking up for herself and got a lot of love on both ends from me and my ex. Someone in the comments says, good on you both. I hate the boys will be boys phrase being used to justify terrible things. That's something you say when your son comes home covered in mud with holding a jar of worms. That's not something you say when he's been copping a feel on an unwilling girl. And I tend to agree. On to the next story. Entitled Mom wants me to stop treating my young adult children as adults. Obligatory, I'm on mobile. English is my first language. Feel free to point out any grammatical errors. So a little backstory is in order. I have two young adult children living at home, ages 18 and 19. They both work and go to college. I trust my kids. I trust their decision-making skills. When they graduated high school and turned 18, new rules went into place. There's no curfew, just call me and let me know you're going to be out all night so I don't worry. You can call me at any time for a pickup, no questions asked. So don't be stupid and drink and drive. Yes, your significant other can sleep over and come over for the weekend. Just let me know what's going on. Pay a small rent during the summer when you're working full time and pay your part of the car insurance. You have your chores and I have mine. We all work together. I tell them if they're being assholes and they listen. In turn, I listen to them. There's very little fighting or arguing in my house. This is their time to spread their wings and learn how to be a responsible adult and have me as a safety net. Lately, one of my kids' significant others has been spending a lot of time over at my house. He is here pretty much all the time. 2 days ago, I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize and answered. It was my daughter's boyfriend's mother. I'm me, and EM is entitled Mom. Hello?
You need to tell my kid he isn't allowed over at your house anymore.
Who is this?
This is Tommy's mother.
I already know where this is going. Oh, Tommy's mom. I have to say, you've raised a great kid. He's always polite and respectful. In fact,
look, I don't care what you think about my kid. He's never at home. He isn't spending any time with me.
Okay, there isn't much I can do about that.
Yes, there is. Tell him he can't come over to your house anymore. I want him home. And you set a bad example for my son. Your daughter has no curfew and I'm sick and tired hearing how nice it is at your house. I miss him and want him home.
I'm speaking very lowly and basically growling into the phone. Are you done yelling at me? I think I stunned her into silence after that one. I'll take that as a yes. Do you trust the way you raised your son?
What?
It's a simple question. Do you trust the way you raised your son?
Of course I do. What does that have to do with anything?
Do you trust him to make good decisions?
Yes, of course.
All right, mother to mother, I know things are not okay at your house right now. Her husband drinks a lot. I am trying to give your child a safe space when things are not okay at your house. She starts to cut me off at this point, but I won't let her. I know it's not your fault. He throws your son out for days at a time sometimes, doesn't he?
Yes.
I can hear her choking back the tears. Do you need someone to talk to? Would you want to go out to lunch? That way you can feel safer knowing whose house your son is at and that he's safe.
That would be okay.
We were on the phone for about an hour after that. What started out as just entitled Mom was just a scared woman feeling very alone. Sorry there wasn't any righteous retribution, but I think it turned out okay. I'm gonna try and get 19-year-old Tommy's curfew changed from 10 p.m. to midnight, and maybe he can stay over for a weekend. Someone in the comments says, you handled that awesomely, and I tend to agree. You did amazing, OP. You aren't just helping the kid, you're helping the mother cope with their kid becoming a full-on adult. Good on you. Entitled Mom lets her kid steal my blind cane. So a bit of backstory. I'm a 28-year-old woman who just recently went fully blind. When I was a teenager, I volunteered with my local youth group to help rebuild Mississippi after Hurricane Katrina. And while down there, I picked up a fungal parasite called, I can't pronounce that, oh my god, that over a decade migrated to my eyes and slowly caused blindness. I've been totally blind for about a year now, so I'm pretty new to it, but I digress. When I first went blind, I barely left the house and was afraid to go out in public. I felt like everyone was staring at me, and in all honesty, I barely knew what I was doing. The transition had been difficult, and I didn't have any support group to teach me. One day, my husband asks if I can take an Uber down to the bank and deposit a rent check, and I reluctantly agree. While out, he messages again and reminds me that we're out of a few crucial groceries. There was a Walmart grocery literally across the street from the bank, so I figure everything in life is an experience, and I'll have to figure out how to shop alone eventually, so why not? Everything was fine at first, and I was only grabbing a few things, so I didn't need a cart. I was using my cane and what little echolocation skills I had at the time to get around, but I was still bumping into things as we blind teen tend to do sometimes. My cane suddenly hit something a bit softer, and I figure maybe I had whacked someone's leg, and I apologize. Cue entitled kid, EK, and entitled mom, EM. Shoot, I'm sorry.
Ah, you just hit my son.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't see him there.
How could you not see him? He's clearly right here.
Now, I'm fully blind, but I don't wear sunglasses, mostly because I can't afford a good UV blocking pair, but also I'm not ever looking for pity or to play the part like a generic blind person. I just wanted to be treated like a normal person, but I do understand her confusion, as blindness is a spectrum, so I try to calmly explain. Ma'am, I'm blind. I can't see anything, let alone your son. That's why I have to use this cane so I can get around without, and then she cuts me off.
If you're blind, why aren't you wearing any sunglasses?
Now, as a blind person, I get a lot of stupid questions, but I understand a lot of them are just people who don't know better, so I try to happily answer as many as I can. Those are really expensive, around $200 for a good pair, and I don't really need any inside.
You're not blind, you're faking it.
And here's where my blood starts to boil. I can't think of any reason someone would want to pretend to be blind. It's an actual hell, and nothing pisses me off more than when someone calls me a liar when I'm not. Just as I'm about to respond, I feel a tug, and before I blink, I realize this little demon spawn has snatched my $100 cane from my hands. For those of you who don't understand, that's like if you're shopping, and suddenly the power goes out and you can't see a single light. Without my cane, I can barely move at all without crashing into anything. My voice gets shaky as I begin to panic. Please give that back. I really do need it.
No, you don't, you liar. My son deserves to play with this more than you.
I hear her shuffle away and my expensive cane, cracking into the metal displays and such as they leave. I start crying and waving my arms in front of me to grab onto something, anything, and end up crashing and falling onto a center aisle display and making a loud scene. Without fail, I somewhat curl into a ball and cry. I'm alone in public, in the dark, and I have no idea what to do. Suddenly, I feel a hand on my shoulder and a man's voice. We'll call him AG for Awesome Guy. Asks if I'm okay and to stay right there. I do, but begin to at least sit up and listen. The man must have been tall and built like a tank because his footsteps sounded like a giant, and I felt like a suction of wind when he took off. Maybe about 30 or 40 feet away, I hear this loud bellowing like an angry lion and a loud crash. Then before I know it, the man is back, helping me to my feet. He takes my hand, puts my cane into my palm, and helps me pick up the items I dropped when I fell into the display. I was wiping with tears away from my cheeks and say, thank you so much. I didn't know how to handle that. Don't worry about it. Some people are just monsters. This guy restored my faith in humanity, and even helped me finish shopping and helped me out of the store. As we're leaving, I can hear the familiar screeching of entitled mom. Something about Awesome Guy grabbing the cane and pulling hard, flinging her little devil child into a shopping cart. I don't know if she was exaggerating it or not, but it would explain the crash I heard. It's easy to feel alone in the world without sight, but even though my sheer terror of being stripped of my cane, I at least know that there are people willing to stand up for me when I need it. That's the end of today's video. If you enjoyed, remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and maybe check out my other channels that are listed in this end card. I will see you all next time. Hasta la pasta.